Brought to you by Penguin.
A Family Secret by Libby Ashworth. Read by Katy Sobey. Chapter 1. 1842. It was still dark when she woke, but Bessie could hear the knocker-up making his way down the street, rapping on the windows until he heard an answer from the sleepy occupants inside. She pulled the blankets tight around her neck and hoped for a few more minutes' sleep. Beside her, Peggy was breathing deeply as she lay with one hand tucked under the flock bolster and the other curled into a tight fist near her face. She'd slept like that since they were children, for as long as Bessie could remember. It was no use, she thought. She couldn't wait a moment longer. Not needing a candle or rushlight to find her way, Bessie swung her feet over the edge of the mattress and felt for her clogs with her toes. They were icy cold, and a shiver ran through her. She reached for her shawl from the bedpost and pulled it around herself, over her red flannel nightgown. She was bursting for a wee and knew that it would be perishing cold outside. She went down the steep stairs, resting her hand on the wall where they curved midway, glancing back as she heard her mother getting up. She'd be in trouble if she was caught going out in her night clothes. Her mother didn't approve of her going down the yard until she was properly dressed, but Bessie couldn't wait, and she hated using the chamber pot. She unbarred the door slowly, trying not to let it squeak and wake Grandma Chadwick, who had her bed in the parlour, now that she couldn't climb the stairs any more. Bessie could hear her snoring and knew that she'd be lying on her back with her mouth wide open and probably a dribble of spittle running down her chin. She hated that her grandma had grown old. She remembered her when she lived in the cottage at Ramsgreave, when they would walk up there to visit her and Grandad Chadwick. Bessie had always enjoyed that. She'd liked the way that the skies cleared to let the sun shine through, and the scent of the air changed as they left the town and its dozens of smoking chimneys behind. The stench of the Blakewater was replaced by the clear streams that ran down from the hills, and the incessant noise of the engines gave way to the sound of sheep calling to their lambs and the gentle thud of the handloom weavers at work. Her grandad had been a handloom weaver. She remembered watching him as he sat at his loom, working the treadle with his feet as the shuttle flew back and forth. He'd tried to teach her to weave, but her legs hadn't been long enough, and her feet couldn't reach the pedals. He would laugh and kiss the top of her head and call her his grand little lass. She missed him. It was cold in the house, and there were frost patterns on the inside of the back kitchen window, but the chill that struck her as she stepped outside was even more fierce. Her feet slipped on the ice as she made her way down to the little brick building at the bottom of the yard that housed the privy. She lifted the latch and pushed open the door before sitting down with relief on the wooden board, her teeth chattering as she emptied her bladder. The knocker-up had moved on to the next street, and in the distance she heard the noise of the engines starting up in the mills for another day's work. Her day began at 6, and it would be 6 this evening before she was finished, and her father would work another couple of hours after that. She supposed they were lucky. The mills were working full-time at the moment, and the money was welcome, although there was always the fear that they would be put on short-time again if the mill owners decided they had more cloth than they could sell. When she went back inside, her mother was down and had lit the fire. She was helping Grandma Chadwick get up, and Bessie managed to close the door quietly and creep back up the stairs unseen. Her teeth were still chattering as she took off the nightgown and replaced it with a petticoat, followed by her skirt and blouse with an indoor shawl crossed at the front and fastened around her waist. She'd take it off later, because even if she was cold now, it would be hot in the mill. She welcomed the thought of beginning her work, even though it would be difficult to mend the threads at first until she got the feeling back into her fingers. Peggy was still in bed. She didn't begin her work at the school until 8 o'clock, and Bessie often felt jealous of what she regarded as the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?